Hi everyone, so this is a quick demonstration video on how to apply our Enviroguard product. So Enviroguard can be applied to most carpets and upholstery. It will work best on natural fibres like a wool carpet, where it's going to turn absorbent fibres into non-absorbent fibres. So there's a few things that you'll need to apply it. First is your mister, so we can use these on carpets or upholstery. There's two that are normally supplied. You can fill both and go around a room if you're applying to a carpet. If you're applying to upholstery, you probably only need one, and you don't need to use a lot of product. The good thing about these misters is they are really fine, so you're not going to use a lot of product, and you don't need to. So depending on what you're protecting, there's the dilution rate for this product is normally 1:1 with water. So you mix it 50-50 with some water. However, I've always used it neat on upholstery. The reason being is if you get a lot of wear and tear, so if it's an armchair, sofa where someone's sitting all the time, that product can start to wear over time. So normally you'll get a good couple of years protection with this product, if not longer if it's not being used. If someone's sitting in the chair every day, it's going to start wearing, so it's not going to last quite as long as it normally would. So that's one of the reasons I'll apply neat. The other reason is because you're not using a lot of product, it doesn't really cost a lot to apply it, and you'll see I'll barely use any in a minute on this chair. So this chair's not been cleaned, but it has been vacuumed. So there's two ways you can apply this. Normally, if you clean a piece of upholstery or carpet, you can then apply the Enviroguard straight away. If you get any chairs, upholstery or carpets that might be brand new and the customer wants them protecting, that's another service that we can offer. Just make sure, like in this instance, everything's thoroughly vacuumed down, because you want a nice clean surface that you can apply this product to. So things that you need, you'll need your mister, you'll need a towel or upholstery brush depending on how you want to brush it in. I also use a funnel as well, just to funnel the product into the mister. So once you've got your product in the mister, I've got some product in here. So this is neat because I'm just doing some upholstery, and you can literally just mist it on. So the other thing I would always be careful of, obviously make sure things are covered, because you don't want to be spraying it everywhere. So this is a wooden floor, so the floor's covered. And just make sure if you're cleaning around furniture, just be, as always, just be careful about what's being sprayed in a house. So give the product a good shake. You can do this before putting in the mister, and then literally it's just a fine mist, and you can see how fine that mist is, and you're not using a lot of product at all. So you don't want to over wet anything when you're applying this product. So it's not too damp, it's just on the surface. So there's two ways that I would, or there's two ways that you can brush this in. So once you've applied the first coat, you can either brush it in or you can towel it in. So to brush it in, it's simply just brush over the surface, to brush it into the fibres. And this just ensures that it gets a little bit deeper down, because what you don't want it to do, you don't want to apply the product and it just sit on the surface. So you need to get it into the fibres. The other way to do it, sometimes I'll do this, especially, you can only really do this on upholstery, is you can towel it in. If you're going to towel it in, always first of all, you've got a nice clean towel, and don't use a dry towel, because if you use a dry towel, you're just going to take the product off. So with your towel, you can do a couple of things. You can dip it into the product, wring it out, or you can just spray the towel. So the towel's sort of nice and damp, and then you can rub this in as well. and just make sure that to touch, it's still damp, because you don't want to, especially doing it with a towel, you don't want to dry it out too much. Then once you've applied that, you'd give it another coat. So this is a second coat all over. And then you've got two options. So you can either leave that to dry naturally and it'll be fine, or you can speed dry it. So if you've got a blower, dry pod, you can put on if the customer wants to use it again quickly, and if it's been cleaned and it's slightly damp, so you can apply this whilst the soap is damp and then dry it, or you could start to dry it off slightly after cleaning and then apply the product. But once that's done, you can, as I said, you can just leave it to dry, and it takes around 24 hours to cure. So customers can use it when it's dry, but it's not going to fully work until the product's cured, which takes around 24 hours. So with this product, you can get a good sort of up to 2 years protection with it. As I said earlier, if someone's using the chair sort of constantly, it might wear off slightly a little bit, so it might not be as affected after a year or two, but it can last up to say 5 years if it's not really used all the time. The same with carpets. The only thing different that you do with carpets is you'd use your long piled carpet pile brush to brush that product in. You don't always necessarily need to brush it in, even on upholstery. I've always preferred to do it because I think it sort of works into the fibres a little bit more. And that's pretty much it. You can, I would say as a guide, charging 50% of the cleaning cost. There's still quite a lot of product in there, so it's hardly used any product at all. And as you've seen in probably some of the videos that we do, it gives really good protection against spillages, and it gives that customer the opportunity to mop up that spillage before it damages the fibres and starts to stain the fibres as well. One thing it doesn't do, it will do in certain circumstances. People sometimes have the impression it's going to create a clear plastic film across carpets and upholstery. So if you've got a carpet, for example, and you drop a full mug of tea, the chances are that mug of tea is going to seep through the carpet, because the fibres of the carpet, there's gaps between them, so it's always going to go somewhere. It's not going to sit on top of the carpet like a puddle. So if you drop a few spillage, like a few spills, and it's tightly woven, then sometimes it will sit on the surface. More often than not it will, but sometimes if it does seep through, the reason it's seeping through is because of the weight of the liquid and the gaps between the fibres. So those fibres are still going to be protected, which is the main thing. So you've still got that opportunity, or the customer's got the opportunity to mop up that spillage in plenty of time before any damage is done. Any questions as normal, just let us know.